Hi everybody, and thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Show and Tell Gospel. I'm Paris, and today I have with me a very special guest, Mr. Eddie Connor. How are you?
Wonderful.
Welcome.
Appreciate it.
I'm definitely happy that you are here today.
Oh, it's an honor and a privilege.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I can't wait to just dig deep into everything you have going on, everything that you've already done, especially for our city, Detroit. We hear all the time all the negative things that are happening in this city, but we never get an opportunity to hear the positive things that are happening. And so I just want to take this opportunity to just really thank you for everything that you have been doing, from your books to teaching to mentoring, the Boys to Books. It is everything that you have been doing definitely has helped this city grow and definitely has helped this city go into another direction. And I just want to thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
For what you've been doing.
I appreciate that. You know, it's about being a servant and helping somebody else. That's what it's about.
That's good. So when I was reading your bio, it said that you're a product of a divorced home, and you said that you discovered strength in the midst of struggle, and I thought that was very powerful.
Yeah.
So can you just kind of enlighten us a little bit more on what exactly you meant by that?
Oh, without a doubt. You know, I'm a living witness that your test is a testimony, your misery is ministry, your mess is a message. You know, your stumbling block is a stepping stone to success. And really, you know, what I've been through, you know, survival, strength, struggle, and then moving to a place of success is really entrenching a lot of pain. And for me, my story, my testimony would be me grappling with one of my greatest, most incredible, insurmountable challenges that I thought it would be when I was just the tender age of 15. And you know, I remember I was having a number of different chest pains, just being a kid, just being a sophomore in high school, enjoying basketball, just being a kid. And I was dealing with a number of different chest pains. And make a long story short, I wound up being in the hospital, and the doctors cut me open. They saw my cells were growing so fast that they could see them growing with the naked eye around my heart, my trachea, esophagus, a place I'm even communicating to you out of right now. I came out of surgery and I felt great. I'm like, let me get back in the thick of things. Let me, you know, get back to playing basketball, running cross country. Doctor says, hold up, wait a minute. He says, Eddie, we have a diagnosis for you. And he says, you have NHL. Now, me thinking back in retrospect, NHL, I'm like, I'm getting ready to be the youngest member of a National Hockey League team. National Hockey League, NHL. And he says, no, you have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Again, I said, my first language is Ebonics. I'm still trying to learn English. Doc, what in the world are you talking about? He says, you have cancer. Not just cancer, but stage 4 cancer.
So how, at 15, I couldn't imagine, you know, at 15, like you said, I mean, sophomore in high school, and I'm cheerleading, and, you know, I'm top of my class and everything. I just could not imagine receiving news like that at 15.
Exactly.
To even be able to grasp that concept, to have cancer, but stage 4 cancer.
Stage 4, right. The doorway to death type of sentence. You know, to be having all that life in me and to receive a death sentence at that age, after being told to have stage 4, the doctor looks at my mother, tells her 4 words: we can't promise anything. Looks back at me and says, don't ask why. I'm like, you my physician, you ain't my psychologist. What in the world are you talking about? Chemotherapy, radiation for the next close to 2 years, 5 days a week. You know, you see these waves today. Lost it all. And my own biological father, one of the most painful things, he never visited me one day in the hospital. You know, I'm a living witness. People be with you on the mountaintop of success, but when you in the valley of struggle, they scatter. And so to have to go through that, being ostracized, forsaken, cast aside, left for dead, I'm grateful to have a praying mother, but also God's word inside of me to say, you know, you shall not die but live and declare the works of the Lord. And for me to live through dying places and see the first 3 letters in cancer is can. You can overcome and survive. I'm blessed to be alive.
That's really good. Because at 15, come on, mama, go ahead, let's get these funeral arrangements going. Because I don't think I would have had the strength to be able to endure that and to be able to go through any of that at the age of 15. Like, that's just, I don't care what age you are, honestly, you know, to hear that you have cancer and, like you said, stage 4, that's death.
Right.
You know,
That's,
so And there's almost no coming back from that. So to see that you're here today definitely is a testimony to anybody out there who may have a sickness or an illness or may be going through something. You can get through this. You can survive. And you can be successful. You can be the next Eddie Connor and sit here and tell your story to someone else.
And it's absolutely true. And I'm telling you, if I believed I was going to make it every single day that I went through cancer, 5 days a week, chemotherapy and radiation, I'm lying to you. There were a lot of days of dark days of depression and being discombobulated, but I had to hold on to faith and hope and believe that I can make it. You can too. You got to hold on to it. Doesn't matter what stage your situation is in. You can't overcome.
Yes. So let's talk more about your books now.
Yeah.
You've written 4 books.
I have.
And I know some of the books talk a lot about purpose and your driven and your destiny. And what inspired you to write these books?
Absolutely. You know, I never wanted to be a writer.
Really?
Never wanted to. And I never wanted to share my story. I was very ambivalent. I was very embarrassed about what I had went through.
Now that's a shocker.
Absolutely. Totally. I never wanted to be sitting here today talking about my most painful trials and situations and just revealing myself, to the world like that. But my mother really was impressing upon me after coming out of cancer that you got to share your story. The world has to hear your story. If you share my story, it's journalism. Mm-hmm. But when I share my story, it's a testimony.
Exactly.
And so there's somebody out there who's always facing a situation, a challenge that they don't feel like they can overcome. But for you to put yourself out there and say, guess what? Yes, I went through this, but I came out of it, and you can too. That's really the message I share. And I wrote my first book at the age of 23, Purposefully Prepared to Persevere, sharing even greater detail what we're talking about or what I went through. Grappling with growing up in a single parent divorce household, then also how to use turn you being afflicted into what you have been experiencing as what you are as gifted, and how to turn that trial into a stepping stone and a testimony. I wrote my second book, Collections of Reflections, Symphonies of Strength, which is a 3-volume set of poetry where I'm sharing perspective on relationships, faith, empowerment, hip-hop, music. Did and wrote one of my most controversial books, Econ the Icon, from pop culture to President Barack Obama, redefining what it means to be an icon in celebrity-driven culture. We're going from keeping up with the Joneses and now keeping up with the Kardashians.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's a good example. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I brought my latest and greatest.
Right.
Unwrap the gift in you. Understanding that you have a gift, you have a purpose, and you got to use it. You got to use it.
So tell us more about Unwrap the Gift in you.
Yeah.
How does a person first recognize what that gift is and then begin that process of unwrapping a gift? Because, I think about Christmas, when you get your gift, you start, tear the bow off or you unwrap the string, and then, then you begin to unwrap the gift and you open up the box and start playing with the toy, or
Right.
then you wear the item that may have been bought for you or whatever. So how does a person first identify the gift and then begin that process of unwrapping it?
Absolutely. And really the book is a treatise of how you continue to unwrap what you already have in you. And every day is Christmas simply because you're a red box in a gold bowl. Mm-hmm. You're a gift to the world, and God never places anything on this planet that is not gifted. Pablo Picasso says this. He says, the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give your gift away. And that's what he did through his paintings. That's what he did as just an artist, as just an innovator and a creator. And even though he has gone on and died, his works live on forever.
Yeah,
and that's what we have to do. We have to leave something on this planet that's going to live beyond even ourselves. And that's the gift that God has placed on the inside of us. Understanding that we have a purpose, we have a unique gift based on our charisma, our character, our confidence, our intellectual capacity, our ingenuity, and our integrity. We have that on the inside of us. Everything that we need is on the inside of us. One day, just the other day, I was looking for my glasses, and I wound up finding them on my face. I don't know if you've ever been talking on your cell phone looking for it.
Yes, plenty of times. Plenty of times.
The fact of the matter, everything that we already have, everything that we already need is within us. Mm-hmm. We're wearing it. where we have the peace, we have the joy. We have to dig through the negativity. We have to dig through the abuse and the misuse, the broken heart, the vestiges of our past. We got to put our lives back together and say, I have purpose. I have something great on the inside of me. I will use my gift to open up the business, to plant locally, because there will be opportunities for me globally.
Right.
And that's what we have to do. Unwrap the gift that's in us.
Yeah, that's really, really good.
Yes.
That was so good. You made me forget my next question.
Well, I want to let you know, you can get it. It's available everywhere books are sold, iBooks, iTunes. I did an audio book as well. If you're enjoying what I'm sharing right now, you can hear me go into some ebullient conversation that will empower you. It's available even on my website. The revolution will not be televised. It'll be online. I don't want you to miss it. EddieConnor.com. EddieConnor.com. You can get it.
So, when did you realize that you had this gift of writing, of speaking? When did you realize that was what? Because I know you said your mom you didn't want to tell your story. You didn't want to write. Your mom kind of pushed you to make you tell your story. So, when did you finally say, okay, Mom, geez, I'm going to do it?
Yeah, and sometimes the greatest blessing comes from when you do it, but you don't feel like doing it. And really, I discovered my purpose through a lot of pain. One of the most toughest experiences for me out of cancer was to write my story. Mm-hmm. I dealt with a lot of bitterness. I dealt with a lot of ambivalence and even lack of trust with people because of me being in such a solitary confinement of the prison cell of cancer, locked in psychologically, incarcerated in a prison without bars. And I wrote my story, and I began to get into a lot of deep, dark places that I didn't want to go. And from there, I began to really just find a therapeutic place. I was healing myself while I was trying to heal somebody else. And, but I needed the most what I was trying to give to somebody else. And it's a place where the light went off, and I discovered it. It just felt right, speaking and writing. And I've been doing this really, especially speaking. I did my first message at a church in Jamaica where I grew up, at the age of 15 with cancer in my body.
Oh, wow.
And I remember my first message was destined to overcome the odds. And I believe that's really the theme of my life.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Absolutely.
So, and I've seen people compare you or call you a preacher. So, how do you feel about that? Do you think you're called to preach or teach the Word of God, or what do you think about that?
Without a doubt. I've really known my call since the age of 12, and 3 years after that I was afflicted. And I definitely, use and exercise my gift in the church. With different churches, different ministries, especially with young people, preaching the gospel. But also, even beyond the church, even in the secular field, and even in various other places, whether it may be the American Cancer Society, it may be the NAACP, it may be BET, it may be whatever specific genre it is. Your gift, I believe, is cross-cultural. And I heard somebody say, if you're gonna cross over, just take the crossover.
Right.
And so being able to reach people from any specific background, ethnicity, environment, I believe my life has a common thread to be able to reach people where they are. And really, you talk about preaching, you take the P off it, that's what it is you're reaching people where they are.
Exactly.
And that's what I do.